Hello guys, part 5 is now upon us, and in today's video we're gonna now look at these sections that we see over here. So we already created an account. If you have not seen that video, I'm actually displaying it on the card above. So we created a video, we talked about SMS and notifications, we talked about setting up even your payment gateway. So if you haven't seen those videos, I actually recommend you go and see those videos before now you watch this video, where we're gonna look on these sections, on the user section, the finance section, on the communication section, and on the device section, what each section does. So in this video we're gonna do the user and the finance, and then on the next series we'll do on communication, and then devices will need to have a separate dedicated video for it. So let's get started. So when you created your account, so I hope everyone is at his account. He has created and logged into his account. This is what you actually see. And because this is a new account, hasn't yet been populated with the data, I'll have to use now the Centipid demo account. That's the one that is populated with the data. For this example, you can see the total amount, and for that month, this is where you see it. And actually you can toggle this one. Let's say you are trying to show this your account as demo to a user so that you can pick Centipid, and you don't want that user to know how much you're earning. You can disable it over here, and here you can see your SMS balance, and you can see the total number of clients you have. This one normally changes if you're using the Centipid gateway. It will the Centipid SMS gateway, it will display the balance of your SMS. But if you're not using the Centipid SMS gateway, it will display this section like this. So after this, now here is where we go to the payment section. Payment section, here is where now you see the amount, where you can filter if you want to know how much you earned today. This is where you can filter it. If you need to know how much you earned, let's say like this month, this is where you filter it. You can see here, you can filter via these options you're seeing here, via yearly, monthly, weekly. So this is the filter. So if you need to see the trend of how your Centipid account has been operating, this is where you see it. Here it's where you see your active users, and also for this one you can filter if you need to know how many active users you had today, this week, or last month. This is where you can filter that to know that. So here we have a customer retention rate. So this one gives you an insight on how many clients are returning to pay for your hotspot, or if it's a PPP, how many clients are paying their monthly subscriptions. So you'll get this one. So you'll see your new customers, how fast you're onboarding new customers. From the new customers, how many customers are returning customers, churn customers, let's say like paid once and never came back, and you can see your retention rate as a percentage over here. Then here you see the data usage. Here you'll actually, when this is auto-populated with data, you'll see the data usage of your site for hotspot and also for a PPPoE. This is where you see it. Now let's talk about package utilization. So if you have, like, let's say a hotspot package or a PPPoE package, here's where you check which package is the one that is normally used the most. So here it will give you a package utilization distribution here. So you'll see, like for this case, Mbao is being used by 3 users. So this is a very good insight to know which package is the one that is performing. Let's look at the revenue forecast. Revenue forecast is actually how much revenue will you expect in the next 3 months. So this is the one that actually it uses clever maths to actually determine it. So according to your trend, it will use that one so to actually help you to do a forecast on your revenue. So let's look at SMS. This one is actually will show you how many SMSs were sent via the system. This one shows you the data usage now on the total network, not now PPPoE and hotspot, but on the entire network. This is the one that actually shows you your data usage. Your user registration, how many new users you're onboarding on a weekly basis. You can filter also via weekly, monthly, yearly basis. Here is the most filter. So this one normally shows you your most active users. So it will actually show you your most active users. So let's say if you're offering a promotion or you want to reward those users, you can see them from this section. Then we have a package performance comparison. So here is where you can now compare which package is the one that is being used. If you see that a package is dormant, you can delete that package. But here is where you see you have your package name, price, active users, monthly revenue, average data usage, and the average revenue per user. So here is where you can know which package is the one that is being utilized. That's on the dashboard section. Now let's navigate to the user sections over here. So for users, if you were to click on an active user, so here is where you'll see your active users for both hotspot and PPPoE. And you can filter those users according to these columns you're seeing over here. An example, let me just click here. So you can see a user, an example like this one. You see, you can filter. I can see the user. I can see everything about that user, and I can disconnect these users. So if I was to click here to disconnect, I can select an option, disconnect until they connect again, or disconnect until they pay again. So this is just but an example. So this is one of the best systems. If you are, let's say, managing your PPPoE and hotspot account, one of the best. Is quite simple to use. So that's on the active sections. So you'll see your both hotspot here and your PPPoE client here. Now let's go in the user section over here. So for here, there's a way you can create a user, you can import users. So let's say you have an already existing setup and you need to import those users. Just go download those users as an Excel format and come and import them over here. You can import as an Excel, or you can also import them directly from the microtik. There is no need to actually download that Excel. You can import them directly from the microtik. So when you create a user, this is how it comes. You can search for that user, the user that you're looking for. It actually displays you your hotspot clients, your PPPoE clients, and also we have a post. So let's say a client, you actually post a client subscription, you'll see that a client here. So there's no need to go looking for a post client, you'll actually see them here. So how do you create a user? It's quite a simple. So here, just come select the type of that user. Is this a hotspot user or a PPPoE user? Select it over here. Set the first name, the last name of that user, the username and password. So if it's a hotspot client, the username and the password is the one that they normally use. Let's say if not connected to the internet, it's the one that they will use to connect to the internet. But most of the cases, because for hotspot it's normally system generated, the username and password is normally system generated. This one is normally used for those people who are doing PPPoE. So if you are doing a point-to-point protocol over Ethernet network, so you'll just set here your first name and the last name, the username and password that you'll set on the credentials, on the client's end credentials. So you normally, let's say an example like Tender, you log into the PPPoE section, set here the PPPoE user, just come set here the PPPoE username and the PPPoE password. Here, now when you go to the router side, you will set the same credentials. You actually set them over here. But I'll also go in a future video. I'll actually now explain how to set up PPPoE once we have onboarded our microtik. Then select the package for that user. If it's a PPPoE user, you'll have to select the package, and then come here, set the expiry for that user, the phone number, email. Did that client pay for installation fee? If so, just come here, check this section over here, then set the amount he paid for installation, so you can keep track of the finances of your account. The address and any comment you need to do on that client, then just create that client. It's simple as that. So once you create a user, let's just discuss this one. Once you've created a user, there's some few metrics you normally get. So if I was to open, let's say, an example of this user, there's some few commands you can do here. So first, you can edit that user. You can send that user the credentials. Let's say he forgot his credential, or you can send that user payment details. Another thing you can do to that user is delete that user. But for this one, you get a general information, a quick overview about that user. So you'll get his account number, full name, what type, it's a PPP client, this one, the username, the password, the subscription status for this one is active, and the package. Another information you get the contact details for that client and the user updates, when that user was created and the last modified, when it was last modified. Another thing you get reports. Like for this example, you'll get the data used by that client. You'll see here the expiry for that client. Here you'll see the lifetime value. So how much that client has paid to your system since he started using since he started now paying for the internet. You'll see that amount over here. Payment reliability, it actually calculates if a client is reliable when it comes to payment, the value rank for that client, and the churn risk. Like for this client, you can see the churn risk is quite low. So here is where you see the live traffic. So if you need to monitor the live traffic of a client, here's where you can monitor it, the data usage for that client, and the peak usage hours. So you can see when that client is actually pulling traffic, which hours of the day or night is that user actually pulling their most amount of traffic. You can see it over here. Here you have the payment, so you can see, you can keep track of how much this client has been paying throughout when he started using the service. So here is payment. Here is also another section. We have a dedicated section for if a client, let's say, paid and you don't know the date, you can just come and search for that payment over here. You can see the number of SMSs that were sent to that client. Let's say payment notifications for reminders, for payment, when the client made a payment, and when the client was notified that his internet is due. Here's where you actually check on it. Then we have the sessions. So here you can see the sessions for that client, when the router went off, when the router came back on. If there was a packet drop on that router, here's where now you see, you can keep track of that. So this is on the expiry section. So if you need to change any expiry of a user, so sorry for that, if you need to just change any expiry of the user, you can click here. Or let's say an example, you need to compensate users. Let's say you are doing a system upgrade, then you need to compensate that user like 30 minutes for the lost time. So here is where you normally now compensate those clients. It's a very simple. That's on the user section. Now let's go to tickets. So if you need to raise a ticket, let's say for a technician. I've not shown you how to create a technician dashboard, but I'll show you in a future video. Let's say a client calls and he has an issue with the internet. You can raise a ticket. When you raise a ticket, when the technician views his dashboard, you'll see a raised ticket and he can go and handle that client's issue. Now, this is where you open tickets and where you close tickets. If a ticket is open, you can set the priority for that ticket. So let's say an example of this ticket. So this ticket, if I was to edit this ticket over here, as you can see, just a minute. It will actually send you to the user. When a ticket is raised, it's normally tied to a user. It's normally tied that to the user. And here is where you see the status of that ticket. Like for this example, this ticket is open. When a technician goes, let's say, and fix these issues for this client, he can resolve the ticket and you'll see it under the closed ticket section. And also, you can set something known as priority, which each ticket raised, which one has the highest priority. Let's say an example has there is 2 clients raise a ticket. One has a fiber cut and the other one needs password to be changed in the router. The one that needs the most attention is the one that has the fiber cut. So you can set the priority for that client to be high, and the other client can wait before first we fix the one that has a fiber cut, then we go and change for you the password. So here's where you actually keep documents on leads. So for leads, if you go, let's say, meet a client and you need that client to be onboarded, now here is where you can create lead. You can come, create that client as a lead so you can follow up. Let's say the client needed internet by the end of the month. So that you cannot forget this client, come create this client here as a lead, and during the end of the month you can come to your lead section or see this client, oh, this client needed subscription at this time and this time, then you can go and do the install. So I'll actually wind it over here because I've seen if I go on the finance section, the video will actually be quite long. Like right now we are at 15 minutes. So, and I normally like to keep this video short. So on the next video, now I'll talk about the finance section and probably the finance, because the finance has a lot. Here's where you'll create packages, talk about payments, talk about vouchers, talk about invoices and expenses. So you'll have, this one will be a dedicated video. Then for communication, I'll brush over this. Maybe in the next, maybe in part 6 when I'm talking about this, or if it's not in part 6, maybe part 7. Then we now have a dedicated section for MikroTik. Then now the overview, how now all those systems, all these features that Centipid gives you tie together. When you have onboarded your MikroTik, how do all these tie together? Till next time, guys. Adios.